Hello, I'm Janna, and welcome back to the Crafty Corner. This week over at the Funky Junky Inspiration Avenue, we are creating to the theme of Deck the Halls. So this is going to be a two-part video, and we're going to be altering some Christmas ideology. If you'd like to see exactly which supplies we're going to be using, go ahead and pause here. All right, let's head over to the Crafty Corner. Today, we're going to be focusing on building a vignette using the Idea-ology Reliquary dome. The dome has such a unique shape, and look at all the space that we have to build upwards and outwards. The dome gives us really good height, and the base will give us plenty of room to play to create a magical winter scene. And the cork base will make it extra easy to put all of our elements down on here. And we're definitely going to be building with some dimension. To do that, we're going to want to pull in some tinfoil. I'm just going to crumple this up, and this is going to be the start of some beautiful snowy hills. So I'm just squishing the tinfoil right onto the base, just trying to get an approximate shape for the hills. And once I'm happy with the shape, we're going to take some hot glue and glue this down as part of our foundational base. Now, we can't just do one hill, we're going to need two. So let's pull in some more tinfoil, and I'm just going to tear off a chunk of this, and we're going to squish that up and add that to our base. So we're just squishing that tinfoil up, and we're going to get an approximate shape of the next portion of the hill that we want. I'm going to try to overlap the two pieces together, and that's going to give us some nice height on the inside of the dome. So we're just going to push that and try to shape that into place the best that we can, but it's going to be easier to tweak the form once we've hot glued these into place, and then we can push and prod all of the tinfoil in the right directions. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull in some hot glue. For hot glue, I am using a Sure Bonder hot glue gun. I absolutely love this hot glue gun because of the fine detailing tip on it. It makes applying hot glue to small or large objects very easy. Okay, so I've got the hot glue. Now we're pushing those pieces of foil down, and I'm starting to see the hills. So again, the brand I'm using is Sure Bonder, and this one I found on Amazon. So we're just tweaking that foil, moving it around, and next I want to add in our bottle brush tree. I'm going to be pushing the base of the bottle brush tree into the tinfoil to give myself an indentation for where the tree can rest. Once I've got kind of a little niche carved out for the tree, then I will take the hot glue and glue it down. Now, we're just doing a quick check to make sure that tree isn't going to be too tall. It looks good, so let's go ahead and glue the tree down. We're just going to put a generous helping of hot glue in that divot that we created and stick the tree down. And I'm definitely going to be adding more hot glue to the base. I want to make sure this tree is very stable and not moving at all. So we're going to be very generous with the hot glue, and we're going to reload while we're at it and just add as much glue as we can to make sure the tree is very stable. Now, normally I would not want to add tons of hot glue to something, but in this case, it's not going to be too bad because we're going to be camouflaging all of that base with some Ranger Distress Texture Paste Snowfall, and that is going to give us a beautiful winter wonderland look. So even if we have lots of hot glue all over the place, it's going to be covered up and completely camouflaged. So just tweaking the tree and making sure that it's all good. Now it is time to add the snow. But check out our foundation. This is pretty darn solid, and that's going to give us a really good foundation to build off of. So we're going to be bringing in that texture paste next and start our snowy hills. But first I do want to do a dome check. That looks good. The height of the tree is still good. I've got room to build up if I want to. So that will give us a really good start. Okay, now for some distressed grit paste snowfall. We're just going to be scooping this out of the jar, and we're going to be using one of the Ranger palette knives, and we'll be coating the entire base of the Reliquary dome cork base, and we'll be covering the tinfoil hills to turn them into snowy hills. So we're just going to scrape that right out of the jar, and I'm just going to push that right into the cork, and I'm going to work my way around the base and try to apply a fairly even coat of the texture paste. And this stuff is magical. Once it dries, it's going to be slightly semi-translucent, but because there is distressed glitter embedded in there, it's going to give us a really, really pretty sparkle. So we're just going to continue our way all around the base, and I'll just be applying a fairly even coat as we work our way around. I decided to go with the slimmer palette knife because that tip is going to allow me to get into some of the smaller places where a larger tip of a palette knife, it would just be harder to get the grit paste pushed into those small spaces. So just going to pick that up, keep moving, and keep applying, and soon we're going to have some really, really pretty snow. This is definitely one of my favorite additions to the Tim Holtz line. It's been such a great texture paste, and for the holidays it is absolutely perfect. So as I'm going around, I'm just smoothing things out and adding more paste wherever I'm seeing some uncovered foil or uncovered cork. So now let's go ahead and kick this on fast forward, and we're going to get the rest of the space completely snow covered. Here is our completed snowy base. That snow is absolutely magical. But now it is time to decorate our tree. So we're going to be pulling in some of the alcohol inked baubles that we did in the previous video, and we're going to use them to decorate our tree. I decided to go with a blue theme. We've got some light blue, some dark blue, and I've even got kind of like a gray blue as well. And we're going to use a mixture of these to decorate the tree. All I'm going to do is add some Collage medium to a bauble, and then we're just going to press that right into the tree. And we're just going to keep repeating this until we have a tree filled with baubles. I love this, and it really makes the tree look like it's decorated. And the shine from the pearlescent look on the baubles just gives this a really fun holiday look. So I'm just going to keep adding some Collage medium, and we're going to work our way all around the tree. And here is the finished decorated tree. The baubles have really added a great winter Christmas touch to it. So we're just quickly picking up the extras and putting them right back into the bag before moving on to the next step. Now we're going to be adding in the gates. I love the gates. They are so cool. We altered these earlier with some distressed Foundry wax and some distress glaze, lumberjack plaid. So I had pre-picked where I wanted to put the gates, and I had made a little indentation in the texture paste snow. Now we've run some hot glue across those spots, and I'm pushing the gates right into those indentations. This is going to make sure that we have the most stability for the gates as we put everything together. Now that we have the gates up, we're going to add in our altered salvaged soldier. I also left some footprints for him, so I'll remember exactly where he should stand. We've put some hot glue in the footprints, and then we can place our soldier. Next, we're going to be pulling in an altered adornment. This is one of the metal wreaths, and that is going to look so magical behind him. But before we do that, I did want to sprinkle just a little bit of distress glitter to camouflage those tracks of hot glue that I added to keep the fence in place. And since the glue is still wet, the distress glitter will stick to it beautifully. Now, let's just do a quick cleanup, and we're going to bring in the wreath that I just mentioned. So on the wreath piece, I have altered it with some distress glaze. We used lumberjack plaid and rustic wilderness. So all I'm doing is running a line of hot glue across the back of the wreath, and we're going to use that to hold the two gates together and as a prop directly behind our salvaged soldier. So just sliding that in, and we're going to push that down, and we'll have to hold it a few seconds while the glue sets up. Okay. Oh, that's not going to stay. It looks like I didn't get quite enough hot glue, but not a big deal. We can just take that wreath right out of there, and I'll grab some more hot glue, and then hopefully it will stick the second time around. I think the metal was really cool to the touch, and yep, the glue solidified really quickly, but no big deal. We just go back in with some more glue, put on a more generous spread, and this time it should easily stick to the gates. Okay, so we're just going to gently slide that behind our soldier, press it down, good, hold it, and there we go. That looks like it is going to be sticking just fine this time. All right. And it is holding. Perfect. So, next, I'm just going to clean up a few of the little glue strands, make sure that everything is still pretty solid. I can always add more hot glue if I need to. I'm going to do a quick check with the dome. That is still fitting beautifully. Good. Now it is going to be time to add in the details. We have our focal point. We've got some structural features. Now it's going to be all about the details. So, in the snow, surrounding the edge of the front part of the dome, we're going to be adding some confectionery pieces. These candy canes were altered with a bit of glossy accents and distress glitter. So again, we're just taking the hot glue gun, and I have some little impressions pre-indented in the snow to act as markers for the places that I wanted to add these candy canes and candies. I love the new color of the candy canes this year. They're a slightly darker red than last year's, but these are absolutely gorgeous and look even more magical when sugared with a bit of distress glitter. So we're going to be bringing in some other confectionery pieces as well as some altered thick board stars. These were from this year's storefront collection, and these thick board pieces have been altered with a bit of distress glitter, and that's going to make a perfect tree topper on our bottle brush tree. Okay, now let's go back to the front of the vignette, and we're going to add those other candy pieces around the edge. I love this year's candy pieces. Here we've got green and red candy pieces, and these are they're gorgeous. But of course, we had to sprinkle some distress glitter on them as well. With just a dash of Collage medium, I am adding these to the front of the vignette. Okay. So we're just going to make sure that we can push them into the snow so that they're going to stay upright while the Collage medium has a chance to dry. So now that we're placing the candies in the front, I decided that I want to go for a symmetrical look. We've got the two candy canes on either side of the gate. Then I added the two green candies and then two red candies. I just love the look of symmetry to this. And I also wanted to emphasize the green and red theme that we've got going on. I've got that echoed in the wreath, we've got that on the gate, we've got that in the tree, and that's just, the color scheme it just says Christmas through and through. But of course, we want to add a dash of different color with the baubles on the tree, and that dash of blue helps that. So next, I really wanted to pull in the die set Chili and Freezy from last year's December die set. They are absolutely adorable, and I'm hoping the snowmen are going to make a good addition to the scene. Oh, wow. They're a lot bigger than I remember. Huh. Well, I think this is going to be one of those times when we're just going to have to change our plan midway through a project. Sometimes you can have a vision of exactly what you want to create, but then some of the practical elements don't work out. That's okay. In this case, I think we're going to add some snowballs instead of the snowmen. So I've got these pre-glittered bubbles that were altered with some Collage medium and some distressed glitter. If we put those next to the tree, that's going to give me an icy cold element that I was hoping to add. Oh well, I'll have to save Chili and Freezy for another project on another day. Okay, so a little bit of glue, and I've gone back to the hot glue, and we'll just stack these next to the Christmas tree. Okay. Looking at that, that should be good. I think I want to do 3 and 3 on each side, but I think I'm going to change up the sizes because this part I don't want to be symmetrical. Okay, looking for a couple other sizes. That should be good. I think if we do a large one and a couple of small ones on the other side, that should work out really well. Oh, wait a minute, I've got a really large snowball over here, so that could work out really well too. So many choices. Okay. So we'll just add one more, and then that should be good for snowballs. All right, there we go. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That fills in the space nicely by the tree. Just turning that, and that looks really good from the front. I definitely like the snowballs. I think that was the right call. Okay. Let's see. How does the dome fit? And the dome is still fitting really nicely. Good. That's also pretty important. Okay, so the dome is fitting over everything really beautifully. That's good. And I'm just checking this from all the angles to make sure nothing's out of place, nothing needs more support. But I'm thinking I want to add another star to the back of the tree. I want the vignette to look nice from the front and the back. So we're just going to carefully take that dome off, and I'm going to grab some more hot glue. I've got a second star that's going to fit there beautifully. So I think that's going to be the last thing I'm going to do on the inside of the dome. Oh, and we've got a little candy that fell off, so it's a good time to reattach it. Okay, turning that. Yep, definitely want that other star. So, dash of hot glue, and we'll just stick that second star to the back of the first one, and that'll give us 2 sides of that tree to look at. That's going to look really nice. Okay, pushing that down. Good, and we'll just get rid of that glue strand. All right, I'm definitely feeling pretty happy about this. Just straighten that star up from the front. Pretty good. All right, I think I kind of want to add something else, but not really. I think what I need to do is add just a little bit more glitter. There we go. Now we've got a beautiful dusting of snow. All right, let's go ahead and close up the dome. All right, just carefully pushing that into place. And the star isn't too tall. There we go. Now we have the dome all ready. Now, this time with the dome, in the past I have traditionally sealed up the dome when I've been finished with a project, but I think I just want to camouflage the base of the dome, and we're going to do that by running some pine twine around the base. I am also going to pull in some jute string, and I think we're going to even add some of the new vintagey Christmas bells. But right now I just want to do a rough measurement and make sure that we have plenty of pine twine to go around the base. So just measuring that out roughly, double checking to make sure that we've got plenty of pine twine, and is looking pretty good. I think we'll use that entire segment. All right, so next I want to measure out some of the jute twine. I want to go around the base maybe once or twice, and I'll be able to camouflage that in with the pine twine as well. Mostly I just need that in order to attach the bells. Okay, good. So we've got our pieces kind of roughly measured. Now it is time to start the final assembly on this project. So to attach the pine twine, we're going to want more hot glue. And I think we're just going to kind of work on the glass and work our way all the way around. I don't think we need to put down hot glue on every part of the pine twine. I think we could just kind of tack it down in places. So let's start over here, and we'll just put some of the hot glue on the base, and then we'll work our way around. As we work our way around, I will stop part way and add the jute twine in the middle to be camouflaged by the pine twine. So in the meantime, let's go ahead and put the rest of this on fast forward as we wrap the base and add the bells. Here is our completed reliquary dome. We have created a magical winter wonderland using a variety of Tim Holtz Christmas Idea-ology products. We're just going to give that dome a slow turn so that we can see all of the elements on the inside. Here we've used some old gates from a older Halloween SKU. We have our new bottle brush trees, faceted stars, confections, pine twine, silver bells, salvaged soldier, and ranger distress texture paste, snowfall, and of course a sprinkling of distress glitter. Thank you so much for joining me here today for this Winter Wonderland crafty adventure. If you'd like to see all of the alterations with the parts and pieces that we've used today, I will include the links to videos 1 and 2 down below. Again, thank you so much for joining me here at the Crafty Corner. And until next time, happy crafting!